Well, now, Birmingham Council needs to find an astonishing £300 million to balance the books, with the council nearly £3 billion in debt. And locals are set to shoulder the burden with a proposed 21% increase in council tax over 2 years.
So the council declared itself effectively bankrupt in September last year, and they're voting today on just how much that council tax increase will be. We've asked people how they're being affected. Have a listen.
People are affected on a really basic level. I know the bins weren't collected recently, and that was a big problem.
The crisis at the moment is just taking all the money out of our accounts, and increasing council tax is just going to tip us over the edge.
There's a lot of anger, especially with the city going into bankruptcy, the council. Where's all the money gone? How was it spent?
There's clearly not been the best management of services for quite a while, so actually, if anything, hopefully it'll bring some innovation, some change, opportunity to actually sort some stuff out.
Let's discuss this Conservative councillor in Sutton Mere, Marion Jenkins. He joins us live from his constituency in Birmingham. Marion, I just want to make this point, and I'm going to make this point at the beginning. There are councils, the length and breadth of this country, that are skinned, both Labour and Conservative councils. This Labour one has garnered, I guess, the most publicity. How in the name of the Lord, right, do they owe £3 billion? And why in the name of the Lord are the people of Birmingham looking at a 21% council tax increase in 2 years? Talk about mismanagement. Are these people good enough to do their job, sir?
No, they're clearly not good enough to run Birmingham City Council. I've been a councillor now for just over 10 years, throughout the whole period of this Labour administration. And it's been a series of disastrous misjudgments throughout the whole time. However, in the last couple of years, we've seen two particular cases that apply to Birmingham that have caused the problems that you've just described. And that's the disastrous mismanagement of the equal pay situation, which is going to cost about 800 million. Nobody really knows how much it'll be. And also the failed implementation of a new accounting system, budgeted for 20 million, now looking to exceed well north of 100 million, and being done so badly that the officers are not in a position to know the true financial state of the council. So it's very difficult to reach any conclusion other than that the current Labour administration are simply not up to the job of running the city.
Marion, the equal pay payout obviously is something that had to happen. It's appalling that it got to a stage where it was 800 million. But what were the alternatives for Birmingham Council?
Well, yeah, although we call it, for simplicity's sake, we say equal pay claim, it's a little more involved in that, in that this issue dates back to the closing days of the Blair government, where they introduced rules that meant you could make comparisons across entirely different jobs. So the situation we've got in Birmingham now is that because enhanced benefits were paid to one group of workers, another group of workers are now claiming that they should also get the same benefits, even though those people who are claiming it have been paid everything they were ever agreed to be paid. And as a consequence of that, we're having to make 600 redundancies in a third group of workers to pay for it. So it's, although we call it equal pay, it could have been avoided if the Labour administration had taken the advice that we'd given them back in 2017, when they were negotiating in enhanced terms for the bin workers. We pointed out that this was likely to lead to an equal pay claim. And it's a question of following the correct administrative procedures so that jobs are properly graded.
Can I jump in? Because we haven't got much time and I'd love to have more time. I want to move it away from Labour/Tory and ask you a question. I mean, you're sat there blaming Labour and other councils Labour will blame Tory. And I said at the beginning, these people up to the job. Surely this starts this whole debate again about devolution, because as a taxpayer, with the greatest respect in the United Kingdom, I don't actually want to pay for the mismanagement of money by Birmingham City Council. So do we not think, all of us, that we should either have more devolvement? There's your budget, sort your problems, and you're not coming to central government for us to wipe your backside if you mess it up, or central government controls it. It feels to me like there's a halfway house, and that doesn't benefit everybody. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. I mean, there is no way that council taxpayers in Birmingham or anywhere else should be asked to pay for the mistakes that have been made. The UK is a very centralised country. I mean, for example, 80% of Birmingham's budget is paid by central government. And I think you're right to say that we should move to a situation where cities have more authority, perhaps as they do in the US, but they should be responsible for their finances. And it's the job of the people who run the city to operate within their budget. You know, everybody in Birmingham, every family, every worker would probably like more money. Maybe they would have a justified claim to be paid more. But in the end, we all have to live within our budget. And that, I'm afraid, is what this council has so spectacularly failed to do.
Very interesting, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Devolvement might be the answer, though.
It could be, but in the meantime, you know, people of Birmingham are going to be struggling. They're not going to have their bins collected as regularly. They're going to see public libraries closing, etc. We're talking about, you know, the state of public services in the country at the moment. It's really appalling.
And it's extraordinary. Marion, really appreciate you being on with us. Marion Jenkins there, a Conservative councillor in Birmingham, all about that whole situation. We'll do